Welcome to Let Us Seek the Lord, a channel where we systematically work through the scriptures, uh, providing daily meditations on the glory of Jesus. Uh, we'll take about 3.5 years to work all the way through at the rate of the passages we're following. Today's passage, January 9th, is Genesis 9 through 10. So it's going to be a little bit longer than normal. So let's get right into it. Genesis 9 through 10 reads like this. So God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you should be upon every beast of the earth, on every bird of the air, on all that moves on the earth, and all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hand. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. I've given you all things, even as the green herbs. But you shall not eat the flesh, that is its life, that is its blood. Surely your lifeblood I will demand, from your lifeblood I will demand a reckoning. From the hand of every beast I will require it. And from the hand of man I'll require it. From the hand of every man's brother I will require the life of man. Whoever sheds blood, by man his blood shall be shed, for in the image of God he made man. But as for you, be fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply in it." Then God spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying, "As for me, behold, I'll establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living thing that is with you, the birds, the cattle, every beast of the earth with you, and all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. Thus I'll establish my covenant with you. Never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again shall there be a flood to destroy the whole earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I'll set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. It shall be that when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud, and I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. The water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. The rainbow shall be in the cloud, and I will look on it to remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth." And God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant which I've established between me and all flesh that is on the earth." Now, the sons of Noah went out to the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth, and Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were sons of Noah, and from these the whole earth was populated. And Noah began to be a farmer, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank the wine and was drunk and became uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it both on their shoulders, and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. So Noah awoke from his wine. He knew what his younger son had done to him. And then he said, "Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants he shall be to his brothers." And he said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant. And may God enlarge Japheth, and may he dwell in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his servant." And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Chapter 10. Now this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tiras. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan were Elishah, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. From these, the coastline peoples of the Gentiles were separated into their lands, everyone according to their language, according to the families and to their nations. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Sheba, Havilah, Sabta, Amma, Sabtekna, and the sons of Raama were Sheba and Dedan. Cush begot Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, Calneh, in the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth Ir, Calah, and Resen between Nineveh and Calah, that is, the principal city. Mitzrayim begot Ludim, Anamim, Lahabim, Naphtulim, Pathrusim, Kasluhim, from whom came the Philistines and the Caphtorim. Canaan begot Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, the Jebusite, the Amorite, the Girgashite, the Hivite, the Archite, and the Sinite, the Arvadite, the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. Afterward, the families of the Canaanites were dispersed. The border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as you go towards Gerar, as far as Gaza. And then you go towards Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim, as far as Lasha. These were the sons of Ham, according to the families, according to their languages and the lands in their nations. And children were born to Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder. The sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Ammon. The sons of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. To Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided. And his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begot Almodad, Sheleph, Azarvamatheth, Jeret, Adoram, Uzal, Diklah, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. These were the sons of Joktan. And their dwelling place was from Mesha as you go towards Sephir, the mountain of the east. And these were the sons of Shem, according to their families, according to their languages, in their lands, according to their nations. These were the families of the sons of Noah, according to the generations in their nations. And from these, the nations of the earth were divided after the flood. Now, a decade ago, the Stillwater News Press had a front page story about a murder here in Stillwater. A man and his girlfriend were at home drinking one night with another male friend. The man went to the bathroom and returned to find his friend making out with his girlfriend. He proceeded then to beat the man unconscious and drug him outside and left him in the yard to die. He then went in and beat up his girlfriend. The neighbor found the man in the yard unconscious and called the police. The man died at the hospital. Pretty cold-blooded. Let me ask you this. Why is murder such a horrible thing? I really don't believe that most people have thought through the answer to that question, but it's an answer that's closely related to the glory of God. I think that most people find murder to be unacceptable because they realize that it could happen to them or to someone they love. But in a world that rejects God as creator and embraces only the rule of the survival of the fittest, why should murder be wrong? After all, if you're one of the fit ones, you ought to die. And does not your inability to survive the attack of revival indicate that you're not one of the fit ones? But such a line of reasoning is emotionally unacceptable, albeit logically demanded. Why is murder such a horrible thing? It's horrible not because it might happen to me. It's horrible not because someone I love might get murdered. It's horrible because man and woman are created in the image of God. Male and female, he created them. And he created them in his image. When one lashes out at a human being, one is not just lashing out at a human being. One is lashing out at the image of the Almighty God. That is what makes it a horrible thing. So why does God make it a rule that when one commits murder, one's life should be taken by man? Well, here he uses the term man in a generic sense. It includes both male and female. And on that occasion, when the murderer's life is taken, it seems to me that this passage implies that the rationale for taking the life should be given to all who are present. That is, this person who was murdered was in the image of God made. He made man in the image of God. This would imply to me that the taking of the life was not done in a vigilante or revengeful sense, but rather it should be done in a calculated sense of justice. Was it not the prerogative of an individual? It is not the prerogative of an individual, but it is the corporate prerogative of the people, the government. On those occasions where capital punishment is practiced, it should be an occasion where people are called back to remember that we are created in the image of God, and to not love God is a very, very serious matter. More stipulations are given to the nation of Israel, the Mosaic Law, considering capital punishment. You could read those in Exodus 21, 12 through 14, or Leviticus 24, 17, or Numbers 35, 33. Each reiterate the responsibility of the corporate body to shed the blood of one who sheds innocent blood. Some safeguards are supposed to be put in place. No one was to be executed except on the basis of at least 2 eyewitnesses. Numbers 35, 30, Deuteronomy 17, 6, Deuteronomy 19, 15. The witnesses were to begin the execution, followed by all the people, Deuteronomy 17:7. Thus, capital punishment was a call to the people to be reminded that we are created in the image of God. To seek to kill that image was not to be tolerated. But now that the New Testament is initiated, is it still to be done? Paul says this in Romans 13, 1 through 5. Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there's no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists the ordinance of God, and those who resist will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Do you want to be unafraid? Do you want to be unafraid of the authority? Do what's good, and you will have praise from the same. For he is God's minister to you for good. But if you do evil, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is God's minister, and an avenger to execute wrath on him who practices evil. Therefore, you must be subject, not only because of wrath, but also for conscience sake. In today's world, God has left the right to bear the sword to punish the evildoer to governments, which he has appointed. Now, I would think that would include how those governments use or don't use capital punishment. If those governments that use capital punishment, then I would think that God would probably desire them use his principles in performing it. The governments which refuse to follow these principles will surely have to answer to him. I know of no government in the world today which, before they execute a convict, reminds their populace that the reason that they are executing a convict is because he or she is struck out of the image of God before they committed murder. Nor do I know of any government that requires 2 eyewitnesses to the murder. Nor do I know of any government that requires the eyewitnesses to be the executioners. Final thought for consideration is that under our New Testament understanding of the cross, mercy triumphs over judgment. Is there room at a corporate level for governing authorities to release mercy and not execute the convict? I would think that there would be, especially if the government did so while proclaiming the reasons that the murder was wrong. The murderer was striking at the image of God. Then the government could proclaim mercy as an image of God's mercy. It would even be more convincing if the murderer repented and trusted in Jesus for mercy. Why at this point in Genesis does God make this rule? Remember, the leading reason that God destroyed the earth was because of the violence of man. I'll bet there was a whole lot of murder going on before Noah's flood. I think a lot of current evangelical church in the U.S. thinks of the evil of Noah's day as solely being married and giving in marriage, sexual immorality. And sure, that was a large part of their immorality that they had, for after all, it's our marriage union that reflects the image of God. But we also know that according to Jesus, that it was a big part of the problem. But in Genesis, violence seems to be the focus, like the story with which we began. Sexual immorality and alcohol seem to fuel a lot of violence. But the main point is the image of God. We want him to reflect his image, his glory. That glory is to be seen in our image, in the way we treat other people, and in the way we form our marriages. He does not want another world filled with violent people. He wants the world to be filled with people who experience his mercy and his grace. Now that is glory. Indeed, we serve a glorious King. Speak his glory to someone today.